I had a dear friend that I worked with many years ago. He was fond of saying many organizations would rather admire their problems than solve them.
That is good.
And it stung so bad because I found myself falling into this. It was the same company where I was trying to be a more positive influence in the organization. And what I began to realize was I was part of that problem. We loved to bitch and complain about the problems that were there. And look, every organization has problems, right? There is no organization that doesn't have problems. If you're not growing, that's a problem. If you grow, you have different problems. There's no world, there's no scenario in which there are no problems. Complaining about those problems does nothing but create cancer. And so the perhaps second piece of advice or encouragement that I would give is stop complaining about the problems and start doing something about them.
Should we throw out a Jocko Willick there? Good.
Good.
You have these problems. Good. Now you have the opportunity to solve them.
Right.
You know, I was in a board meeting the other day, and he says, I don't have to do these things. We have the opportunity to do these things. And I like the fact I have the opportunity to solve complex problems because it allows us to, solve them. So I agree. And I mean, just like you and I, we've both been guilty of being in the bitch box or being the bitcher to the bitch box. And really what did we do? We just wasted our time, energy, and soul.
Yeah. It doesn't actually help. What you just said reminded me of an interview I heard with Barack Obama several years ago. And Barack Obama said, as the president of the United States, if a decision lands on my desk, it's not an easy decision, because if it was easy, somebody up the chain would have solved it. I only get the hard stuff. And you can view that two ways, right? You can look at that and be like, oh man, poor me. My job sucks. I get the hardest problems in the company. Okay, that is true. And that is one way to think about it. I would say the inverse is, man, I am so thankful that I have a team of people that are solving so many problems on a day-to-day basis that I don't even have to get involved. And the only thing that I have to deal with are these ones that are really tricky and probably require whoever's sitting at the top of the org chart to make these kinds of decisions. I think that's just a matter of perspective. They're both true statements. Which one are you going to choose as your perspective, as your view?
It's interesting you say that. If it makes it to my desk, it's the difficult problem to solve. I think if you look at the president, they pick a cabinet of people around them, and there's, hundreds and thousands of people around them to make things happen, right? So if something gets on the actual president of the United States desk, it is a hard problem to solve. But I think the problem in the average company, especially in the SMB space, I don't think they have, some cases they don't have that cabinet of people or hundreds/thousands of people. And sometimes it really is the least important problem that makes it to the company president's desk because they don't have it. But that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah. Whose desk should this problem be sitting on?
Right. But I think there is, you have the opportunity to solve that problem to keep it from getting to your desk.
So here's how I would wrap up our conversation. I've been talking to my 11-year-old, almost 12-year-old son about this a lot. I'm going to butcher where the source of this, but the idea was that I think an ancient Indian leader was talking to his son and said, inside of all of us, there are two wolves, the good wolf and the bad wolf, and they're constantly fighting each other. And the son or the little boy said, well, which one's going to win? And the old man said, well, whichever one you feed is going to win. I have shared that with my son and shared a lot with myself of there are two wolves inside of all of us, right? If we can take this analogy, there is the wolf of gratitude and the wolf of complaining. And if we feed the wrong beast, it will continue to get bigger and stronger, and it will destroy the other one. So which one do you want to feed? Whether you are an employee, a manager, a leader, a tenured executive, you have a decision to make for yourself first, and then for your organization second. Which of those two beasts are you going to feed? The beast of gratitude or the beast of bitching? Because you can't feed them both.
Ooh, I like that. And to compound that with the season, I think given the fact next week's Thanksgiving, the compounding advice is use this as an opportunity to feed the gratitude wolf. Nothing but the gratitude wolf. Feed the gratitude wolf next week and see if you can make work not suck within your job or your company.